Welcome, welcome to art class. Today we're going to do some landscape practice in preparation for our larger landscape project. So go ahead and share my screen. All right. So some common things that we might see in landscapes are things like mountains or clouds or kind of animals. And so that's what we're going to practice today. And over to the left here, I just have some finished examples just so that you can visualize what your work should look similar to by the end of class today. Oops, put that back. And we're just going to take this step by step. Alrighty, we're going to start with our mountains. Right now, I'm pretty zoomed out for my work. If I look at my magnifying glass, I'm at 56%, and that's going to be very difficult to do details and things like that. So I'm actually going to go ahead and set it to at least 100%. I feel pretty good. Sometimes I'll just like to see how it is at 200%. Nope, I actually think I'm going to be better at 100%. That way I can see the whole shape. So definitely take advantage of your magnifying glass to zoom in to be able to see your work a little bit better. And all I'm doing is I'm not clicking right on the magnifying glass, I'm just clicking on that little triangle so that I can set my specific one. And the reason I do it like that versus just pressing Control plus is because I don't want to change my toolbar size. I like my toolbar size. Sometimes if you zoom in and then you can't see part of your toolbar. All right, so for the mountain, we're going to use the Polyline tool to trace the mountains and the shadows. We'll group the shadows together. We'll change our border color to transparent, and then we'll have one lighter color and one darker color for the shadows. Okay, so when you first start, your line tool right here it always defaults to just this diagonal line. We don't need that. We're going to use a teeny tiny arrow, and we're going to choose the Polyline tool. And just a reminder, if I'm working with my Polyline tool and I accidentally double click, it's going to turn into a black line. If that happens, I'm just going to delete it and start over. When I'm working with the Polyline tool to trace an object, instead of tracing directly on the black line, I'm actually going to trace a little bit to the outside. So my blue line is what's active. When I'm clicking, I actually use two hands on my keyboard, on my keypad, I use my left finger for clicking and my right for moving, but you just go as slow as you need to and just trace a little bit to the outside because who cares if it's a little bit bigger than the original? No one will know except Miss Arcane, and Miss Arcane's okay with it. But this is really going to help you see your blue line. And now the bottom, I'm just going to click all the way straight across. Now this is super important. For this to turn into a shape, I have to connect it back to my original point. So let me annotate that real quick. Here's my original point. And now for me to close off this shape, I need to snap it to that first point, and it's going to turn into this lovely mountain shape. It doesn't look exactly like the original, and that's okay. It's a mountain. It does have enough details, enough irregular line that it totally looks like a mountain. I'm going to change over to select tool, and I want to get rid of this black line. That's the border color. It defaults to a black border color, and I'm just going to set the border color to transparent. The border color is this one that looks like a pencil. We're going to make it transparent. And then make your mountain whatever light color you like. I think I did purple before. Maybe I'll do pink today. Now I can't see my shadows right now, so I'm just going to click on this mountain. I'm going to use my arrows on my keyboard just to move that over out of my way. Boop. Okay. I'm going back to the Polyline tool, and this time I'm doing the biggest shadows. Now, if you want to be a super detail-oriented person and trace literally every single one of these black lines, more power to you. But I'm not going to because I actually want this to be simplified. I'm actually just going to focus on these shadows that are on the right-hand side. So just let me scribble in what I mean. You see these shadows here that define like the bigger shadows. That's what I'm going to focus on. Just these shadows that are on the right-hand side. Okay, got my Polyline tool. And again, I'm just going to trace around and then go up to the point. I do kind of have to trace on top of it during some parts. Sure, we'll add a little detail there, but you can also omit details. Pretty simplified. Let's go ahead and change our border color to transparent. And then when it comes to a shadow color, please don't pick black because A, it makes it super hard to see on this picture, but also because our mountain is pretty light, so you can literally just pick either one or two shades down. I'm gonna go with this kind of medium pink. All right, let's do it again. Tracing this little shadow, but like I'm not even going to do that side. I'm just ending it at the point. Yep, I like that. Let's start at the point. Okay, let's overlap these two and that'll kind of make them combine into one shadow. That's nice. I'm still using that trick where I'm kind of going around the outline. See how my blue line is going a little bit to the outside? This is a great trick because then you can still see your blue line and you can, just kind of tell where you are. And last one here. Notice I'm not like getting every single teeny tiny shape, and that's okay. Okay, every one of my mountains now has a shadow. So I'm gonna go to my select tool and I would need to group these. So right now, let me just click off. I have nothing selected. Okay, I'm gonna select this shadow. I clicked on it. So if I wanna click multiple objects on my keyboard, I'm gonna hold down the Shift button. I'm gonna annotate that. Shift button. Hold it. So first one is selected, I'm gonna hold Shift and I'm gonna select another shape. You see how my blue box got bigger because I got two shapes selected? Let's select this one. Ooh, see, now I have all three of them. And you can actually see that there's still a teeny tiny blue line around the individual shape, so you can really tell what's selected. Select that one, select that one. Here's how I test it. I'm gonna go on my keyboard, I'm gonna press the arrow right, arrow left, and I can tell that I have all of my shapes. So if I don't have all my shapes, there'll be one that doesn't move, and then I can go shift click and get that other shape that I missed. I don't want to move all these shapes individually, so I want to group them together. To group something, you're going to go to Arrange and Group. Now I can click on one and I have them all selected, which is great because now I can move them all together and line them up on my mountain. Boop, 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 and that looks super nice. Because my pinks are so similar, like you can see here, like this lighter pink is showing, but no one will really care or at all. If I want to like adjust that a little bit, maybe put that up or left, like all good. It looks amazing. And then we can group it together with the pink mountain, the light pink. So click on my light pink as well. So I shift click. I'm still holding, so click once, hold shift, click the big pink one, and I can group that as well. And now this mountain is all one shape, which is super convenient for moving it around. And I'm just going to move this back on top for grading purposes. Please put it back onto the working surface so that I can see it easily. All right, so just a review for the mountain, we are using the Polyline tool, which is the one that looks like a Pac-Man. We are going to group our shadows together. Your border color should be transparent, and then you're going to use the same color but a lighter version of it. So we're using value, a light pink and a dark pink, or as in this case, light purple, dark purple. Beautiful. Okay, so for our clouds, we're going to change gears and we're going to use the curve tool because it's a curvy shape. Makes more sense for that. The curve tool is this backward S. Please don't choose curved connector. You actually want the one that says curve. And it works the same way in that we're just going to click and I'm going to do the same trick where I'm going to click around I know that a cloud shape exists in Google Draw. We are not using it for our purposes today. I want you to be able to use any photograph and create a cloud. I want you to be good at using the curve tool. Okay, just like with the Polyline tool, you've got to take your blue line and connect it back to the very beginning point. Huzzah. We're going to take our border color, again, that pencil tool, and we're going to set it to transparent or no color. And to be perfectly honest, I think this blue is a great color, but if you want to switch it up, go for it. You can have pink clouds if you like. I'm going to move that over again because I have a shadow. Okay, back to my curve tool. Same trick, going around. Oopsie, if that happens, just go to select, delete it, start again. If it happens a lot, then you'll zoom in. So if I just keep messing up, then I'm going to go to my zoom and set it to 200%. That's my general rule is if it messes up 2 times in a row, I need to zoom in. And that's okay. And now I'm just, you know, I really love just tracing around it a little bit because no one will ever know that you didn't trace it right on the line. No one will ever care. And it's just so much easier because you can see the line better. Um, if I'm scrolling, I'm using 2 fingers on my keyboard. All right, yeah, zooming in really helped me with this part. Huzzah. All right, we're gonna get rid of the border color again. That's the pencil looking tool. And then we wanna select a slightly darker blue. Yeah, I think that should be good. I'm gonna set my view back to 100% just so I can see these a little bit better. All right, so let's drag this over and make it match up on top of there. Beautiful. And then let's go ahead and group this together. So I have the shadow selected right now. So if I hold shift and click on the lighter portion of the cloud, I now have both of them selected. I can go to arrange, group. And now they're all together, which is super nice. And then I need to work on that little deer dude. So just move your cloud back over on top for grading purposes. Here's that cloud, like this one I slowed down and like really made it fluffy, but here's like, obviously I didn't make it as fluffy and they both look beautiful. So don't stress if it doesn't look exactly like mine. Do you have 2 colors, a lighter and a dark? Then it's awesome. Okay, just to recap for clouds, we use the curve tool. Oops, the curve tool right here. The one that looks like a backwards S. We trace the cloud and the shadow separately. We grouped the cloud and the shadows together, and then we did our border color transparent, and we have a lighter and a darker color. And again, please notice that I did not use like super insanely darker colors for the shadow. Like, look at this. This looks super like, I don't know, like dramatic. Maybe that works for some pictures or like even black. So that looks super weird. So just go with a slightly darker color. It does not have to be super crazy dark. Okay. Good review. You're rocking this. If I have not said it in this video, but I would watch the mountain, pause it, watch the cloud, pause it. That way you're not having to watch everything and then try to remember all the steps. So yeah, feel free to pause this video at any time to go do your work and then come back. The deer is going to be the most challenging just because it's the most complex shape. So we are going to use the Polyline tool. However, we're going to do it very differently from the mountain. Instead of the mountain, we did just like the bigger portion of the mountain, we did it in one piece. We just traced it once. But for the deer, since it's so complex, we're going to use multiple pieces. For example, we'll trace each leg separately, and then we'll group all the pieces and make them the same color. So if I zoom in 200%, for the example, I left the border on so you could kind of tell how I did this in multiple pieces. But then in this video, I'll also show you once you get rid of that border line, it actually looks perfectly normal. I am going to set my zoom for 200% for this part. And I am going back to the Polyline or the blocky Pac-Man tool. Okay, so instead of like, there's you're going to mess it up if you try and trace this in one go. You just are. Like, I've been using the Polyline tool forever and I still mess it up. So take your time and we're gonna do just like small pieces at a time. So I'm gonna do each ear. Oop. Still using my trick of tracing around so I can see the line. And now I'm just going to do a straight line back to my beginning point. Huzzah. I'm going to get rid of my border color and I'm going to fill it with any color but black because it makes it really hard for me to grade it. How about this beautiful teal? I literally don't care what color you pick as long as it's all the same color. So now I'm going to do the next ear. And close it off. Cool. Now I'm going to do part of the head. So it's totally okay to go through your previous shape. Since they're all the same color, it will totally work. Huzzah. And then if I select off of this right now, you can see that because there's no border line and they're all the same color, it actually looks like it's all one piece, but it's actually three pieces. So if I put the border back on, you can see the three pieces that I made. So this is a really good trick to make it appear like you did it in one piece, but it's actually multiple pieces. So I usually try to overlap my pieces just to make sure there's no white spaces when I'm done. Forgot what color I did. Is that it? Yes. Don't forget what color you did. So a lot of times I'll literally start my next piece in the middle of a piece I just did. Like that. See, I started it in the middle. So let's do these legs separately. The other great thing to this method is like sometimes you'll accidentally double click and it will close off into a shape. Hey, you don't have to delete it, just keep going. So this trick works because there are no border colors and because there's no gradient or any color changes. If you start making this rainbow colored, it's not going to look right. It's not going to look like this beautiful silhouette, like it's all one shape. You know, and like obviously whatever lines you have in the middle doesn't matter because you won't ever see them. So focus on your outside lines. I think I have like a little bit of a white space there. Get rid of that. And again, if I accidentally like, that looks fine to me. I'm going to keep going. Cool. Keeping on, keeping on. Almost done. Beautiful. Okay, so now when I click off of this, it looks just like it's one solid blue deer, which is awesome. That's what I want it to do. Let's go to 100%. I'm going to show you two ways to group. There's the way we've been doing, which is to click on a shape and hold shift. But we have a lot of shapes and they're actually kind of hard to see where they are. So sometimes like you'll miss shapes. You can still absolutely do your trick where you like move to the right, move it back, move to the right, move it back. So you can like tell what you're missing. I do this a lot. What am I missing? I feel like yeah, with the tail, I'm missing the tail. There we go. Do I have everything? Yes. Okay. So I can do it that way and then go to arrange group. However, that can be pretty time consuming and you might have like a billion things. So I'm going to move this background image away. And then I'm gonna click up here on the white and the gray section and notice how I'm gonna click on the upper left and I'm gonna drag. So here's where I wanna start. and then I want to end it down here. So click and drag, click, there we go, click and drag, and you see got a blue box there. And notice how my blue box is surrounding that entire deer. Now it just automatically selected all of the pieces inside there. So ask yourself, why did I move this? Well, I don't want it to be a part of my group. So if I click and select while he's over here, well then he's still a part of my group and I don't actually want him to be a part of it. So I'm just going to move him away. Click and drag, and that will select all of those pieces, and then I can go to arrange group. Notice how I did not click on the ear to do this. I have to click off of the animal, off of it to the other side of it. But now it is all grouped together, which is awesome because like now it just appears as a silhouette. And that was way easier to do than trying to like trace around the whole guy. Alrighty, so for the deer, use the Polyline tool to create the deer in multiple pieces. And then group all the pieces and make them the same color. And then don't forget no border color. That's the trick. I know in my example, I left the border color, but that's just because I wanted you to visually understand that that was actually made up of smaller pieces. Yours should look like this, where it's one solid color. I'm gonna go to 50%. So your work is complete when you have a mountain with a shadow, you have a cloud with a shadow, and you have one solid deer animal. These are all some really great tools and skills that are going to serve you as we move forward to our actual landscape. And so this is a really important practice, but it's also a way for you to practice these skills without having to stress about, is my artwork perfect? It's okay if it's not perfect. This is for practice. All right, beautiful people, I cannot wait to see what you create, and I'll see you next time. Stop share, stop record.